Well, good evening and welcome once again to Letchworth Cable Access. I'm Kyle Adamczak, and tonight our guest is Scott Gardner, who, as you know, is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Promotion Agency. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having me, Kyle.
Well, first off, let's get definitions out of the way. What is the Chamber of Commerce? What does it do?
The Chamber of Commerce is, at its very core, it's a 501c6 organization, which is defined as a business association. It's a membership-only organization. We're not a county agency, even though we have Wyoming County in our name. We're membership-driven, so we depend on our members to keep us going. That's who we work for, directly first, and then we work for the community and the greater good of economic development and economic prosperity in Wyoming County.
Now, is the local Chamber of Commerce a spur of the larger National Chamber of Commerce?
No, chambers of commerce, it's interesting, the history of them. They started years and years ago, and they spring up in various ways. Some are very, very old. It was the chambers of commerce that led the parks movement, in fact. But there is no line of succession or one is over top of the other. We're more associative. So we affiliate with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. In New York State, the statewide organization is the Business Council, and we're members of that, so we are able to access the resources of the state organization. And then in our case, we're a county chamber of commerce, different than a village, town, or city or another type of business association.
So, how do you go about promoting business to the world at large? Local business to the world at large?
Well, in a variety of ways. It's different audiences at different times as well. So in some cases when we're talking about buy local or local promotion, we're talking to customers and local residents. So we want them to shop at local businesses and be able to access the services and goods that we have here in the county. In other cases, and this is typically more on the tourism side, we're talking to an external audience, as I would call it, which is outside of Wyoming County, so that we want to bring new revenue and different revenue into the county and not circulate the same revenue inside the county. So we do that through a variety of ways. We do that simply, in some cases, through our business directory. We have a printed business directory that goes to 20,000 households in the county. We also do it through our website, various advertising and promoting events that we do, marketing events. And then in the tourism side, we do it through our travel guide, which is our primary vehicle here. And we produce over 100,000 of those. So we're trying to bring people inside the county to basically spend their money at our local businesses,
Yes.
because that's what keeps our economy going.
Yes, so the tourism tries to bring people in.
Mm-hmm.
The chamber just services businesses that are in the county.
Do
you try to attract new business in, or?
We do. We actually work then in a complementary fashion with our partners at the county level and even outside of the county to do business marketing attraction. So we work with the Wyoming County IDA, the Wyoming County Business Center, and marketing efforts in some very targeted ways. So we're working with them on marketing tourism recreation destinations and reasons why you want to locate your business here, food manufacturing, and then regular manufacturing, agribusiness, and other, So we partner with those other organizations or county agencies to leverage expertise and do what we do best and do what they do best, and then market the county outside to, we've done marketing campaigns into Canada. This is business attraction, and 250-mile radius around Wyoming County to try and tempt people from other states and other parts of our state to come here.
To open a business.
To open a business here. Because ultimately you want to bring in, if you can bring in a manufacturer or a larger business, you're going to create jobs and more opportunity. And then when you bring that in, you spur the economy, and then it's a trickle-down effect. Then smaller businesses on main streets can open up and service those employees and that are coming here, that are living here.
What's some of the biggest attractions to open a business in Wyoming County? I mean, what would draw?
Well, we're actually well situated as far as geographically between two major population centers, and we're not that far away from, again, outer markets into even Canada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and onto the East Coast. So it's really relatively easy to get your products outside of here. Um, so our geography is important. Um, our workforce is solid. We have a good work ethic here, so that's another reason why we try to attract people to come here. And it's relatively lower cost of doing business here than it is, say, in some of our larger, more metro areas. And we have, and I won't speak to some of the specifics that are available, but from the IDA and our business center, some attractive incentives that you can utilize to bring in businesses.
What are challenges to bring a business into Wyoming County?
The challenge is, I would say, is less Wyoming County than it is New York State overall.
Yeah.
And I think that's typically taxes and regulatory environments. It's, energy costs. It's some of those things that we can't do anything about in Wyoming County. So we work hard in spite of some of the forces outside. And that's true of any of our neighboring counties in the Glow region or in the southern tier. We unfortunately have to work against regulation and taxes at the state level that we have no control over. So it's unfortunate because New York State's a great place to live. It's a great place to work. Our area is beautiful to live in. It's a wonderful place to vacation. It's just we're a very heavy regulated state. We're still last when it comes to business attraction and development in the country because it's very expensive. It's still expensive to be here.
So how would you entice somebody to pick Wyoming County? How do you work with them? What's a typical way?
Well, if we work with partners that are business attraction partners larger, so this is sort of out of the chamber world a little bit, but we would provide a lot of the information about what would be good for their employees or why the business would prosper here. Again, we would talk about the attractions that we mentioned a little bit earlier as far as the geography, and it is actually lower cost. The taxes are actually lower here than other places. So we would use that to attract a business here. But we work with partners outside of Wyoming County to kind of headhunt companies. And so we have one sheets kind of portfolio that show all of the reasons why Wyoming County is a good place to live, work, and raise a family and start a business.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the Chamber of Commerce is a private organization, the
Right.
Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce, not a taxpayer-funded organization.
That's correct.
So you're supported by membership.
Right.
Now, who are the typical members? The owners of brick and mortar stores, or
Typically, it's brick and mortar stores. We have right now a little over 530 members, and we're very proud that we're one of the top 10. We're in the top 10 chambers of commerce in the Buffalo region. Buffalo first ranks the chambers, and we're in the top 10 as far as membership. And our members range from single entrepreneurs, one person, to our manufacturers. So it runs the gamut, the type of businesses that we have, which makes it very interesting because it's a pretty diverse portfolio of membership. I think sometimes we don't realize all that we have here. I sit in an interesting spot because I get to look on a regular basis at the type of members that we have and see who our members are. And that's why the business directories are kind of interesting just to look at, because it gives you, a pretty broad, view of all that's here. And sometimes we get very myopic and we don't realize what's in our own backyard. And that's the whole shopping local thing that, people think, well, I'm going to go straight to Amazon. Well, but maybe check out your Main Street first. Maybe see what's available before, you go online. Maybe I would use that as the last resort. We have some great shops and restaurants, whether it's lumber yards, whatever you're looking for, you can typically find it here.
Yes. Our guest tonight is Scott Gardner, who's the president and CEO of the Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Promotion Agency. How important, you mentioned tourism and attracting it, how important is it to the county?
Well, tourism represents about $46 million in financial impact to Wyoming County, and that means that the way we like to talk about that based on that statistic is that the average taxpayer would have to pay $348 more in taxes if it weren't for the tourism dollars that are being brought into the county. So tourism is very important to us, and that's a combined. That's also labor incomes, and that's tax receipts that are coming in. So it's a critical component of our overall economy. And when you look at, number one industries, what we have, we're in the top. Tourism is like number 4. So it represents a very critical component, and it's a lot of pieces that make up tourism. It isn't just one particular thing. It's lodging, it's retail shopping, it's our attractions that we have. So it's not just any one particular destination.
Yes.
It's the county as a whole.
Well, is there more for the tourists to do than visit Letchworth State Park?
Of course there is.
Yes.
Once you get outside of Letchworth State Park is an anchor. If you
Yes.
were to take a mall and had Macy's at the end of it, that'd be the anchor, and that brings in maybe 750, 800,000 people a year, which is great. But outside of the park, we have everything from places like the Charcoal Corral over here in Perry, to you have the East Hill Creamery, to the Arcade Nautical Railroad and Hidden Valley Animal Adventure. I mean, we have some really great attractions, and we bill Wyoming County when we're marketing it as a 4-season destination, and it represents, in many respects, a way to escape other places. So people come here to get away from the city. They come here to get away from, we have travelers coming from up and down the East Coast and Canada and from as far west we market into Ohio and beyond, and people are coming here to kind of get away from it all. That's what's beautiful about it. Our rolling hills, and the leaves are changing. This is fall. There's a lot of great reasons why people come here, and it's the friendliness of the people who live here too.
How do you go about tracking how many people come in and what they do?
It's a little tricky, actually. You have to talk to a number of the businesses directly and find out kind of what their census is. We kind of check on that to see where they're at the end of the year. As far as our festivals and events, there's counts that take place, so we know that what the Letchworth Arts and Crafts Festival brings into the area. We know what Appaluncan brings into the area on average, and then we can contact our motels. We can ask the bed and breakfast. We can find out. There are some indicators, and then the state does its own research on who's traveling and where they're coming from and how much they're spending as well. So there's a couple of companies that track that data for us too.
Now, does the tourism get inquiries from potential tourists?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And what do they ask for typically?
They ask everything from when something's open to, is the entrance open? Is the bridge finished at Letchworth State Park?
Yes.
Can I go for a ride on the train? What are the hours? Is this restaurant open? We get questions all day long. We never quite know what we're going to get. The important thing for us is to act as the referral and resource for when people call, so that if we don't know the answer right away, we can very quickly point them in the right direction, because nobody wants to wait. And a lot of the questions that we get are to get a copy of our travel guide. I mean, we sent well over 30,000 travel guides directly out of the office this year. So we had over 65,000 at the park, and then we did direct out of the office mailings. That's people contacting us and requesting one. That's through email on our websites. And then we also put them up and down the throughways, travel stops, visitor centers. They're all over the place. So
Where is the farthest away you've received an inquiry from?
what's the farthest in my tenure there? I've spoken to people from around the country easily. Texas, California, Canada. Canada is a regular one that we get phone calls from. I've never gotten an international phone call, but we have gotten requests internationally because we partner with the Isle of New York campaign, and then we leverage within the greater Niagara region our resources. So we're actually marketing on a much larger scale than just Wyoming County all by itself marketing to the outside world. So we're with a larger pool of tourism attraction assets, really, when you're talking about Niagara Falls and the big things that people come for. So New York is actively promoting in England, Germany, Australia, China. So when you see those buses come through, or when you're driving on the roads in Wyoming County and you're behind, whether they're tour buses or lines of traffic from up and down the East Coast or wherever, that's working. That means that those people are coming here and they're spending their dollars and they're helping lower and keep our taxes where they're at instead of having to increase them. So the tourism is critical, and I think it's great. I walk up to people if I see plates that are out of town and I'm at a gas station. I'll walk right over and where are you from and what are you here for, and the answers are always interesting. They're camping or a family reunion, or they're here, they want to do some fishing or swimming. They'll go down to the chapel in Portageville. I mean, I ran into a couple that were from South Carolina. They came up here just for that. You never know. You never know what you're going to get, but I think it's really neat to ask. And I always carry guides in my car, so I always say, "Would you like some information? I can give you some more." So we have some fun with it too.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah,
It's good. So, well, it's good to know that I guess we're a highly regarded attraction then, Wyoming County.
Oh, we are. We are within. We're nestled here, actually quite nicely, between Buffalo and Rochester, and within Finger Lakes Trail. You have the wine region that goes all the way down to Chautauqua. Again, this is where we talk about the beautiful and wonderful assets that New York State has. The great place that it is to live, from the Adirondacks to, we have two Great Lakes, Lake Erie and Lake Ontario just above us. It is a tremendous place to live and visit, and that's why so many people come here, because it's safe. I mean, to come to Western New York, the people are friendly. It's safe to travel here, and you get to see nature's beauty. And in many cases, the rolling hills and our agriculture untouched, and that's what people want to see, especially if they're coming from larger, urban areas like New York City or Baltimore, or when you see New Jersey. There's a lot of places from New Jersey. We get a lot of visitors from down there, but we love them. We love having them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our guest tonight is Scott Gardner, who's the president and CEO of the Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Promotion Agency. Let's get back to the Chamber of Commerce. Each year, the Chamber presents an awards program, an annual awards program. Is that correct?
It's true, yes.
And what's the purpose of that, and who are the recipients this past year?
Well, one of the other aspects of the chamber is recognition. So we want to also recognize those members that are doing a little bit above and beyond, or have done something extra, expanded a business, added jobs, invested in their business, whatever it might be. We want to recognize them, and so there's lots of ways to do that, but we do it in a formal way every May at our annual awards. And this year, the large business was Cole Building Solutions. The small one was Harding Plumbing and Heating, right over here in Perry. Balloons Over Letchworth was our tourism business, and the Silver Lake Brewing Project was our most promising business of the year. And earlier in the year, so that was in May, earlier in the year, we give the Agribusiness Award, and that was Perry Vet Clinic. So we kind of spread them out through the year in that sense, and but I don't think you can ever recognize any of them enough. So every opportunity we can, we do.
Excellent. Why should the consumer, the Wyoming County consumer, shop local whenever he can.
That's one of the hardest messages to drive home for people to remember to do, and it's critically important for our downtowns and our small businesses, in the sense that they're the ones that give back the most, if you really think about it. Because I came from small business. I grew up in a small business in Warsaw. My family had, from the time I can remember. My grandfather bought the business the year I was born.
And what was that?
It was the Deli and Bake Shop, and then we had a Bud's Deli in Warsaw as well. And I worked there as a kid. My aunt and uncle owned that, and people come in and they ask for donations. They ask for help. And business people, they give help all the time. They help with sports teams. They help with nonprofit organizations, giving donuts or giving donations and gift baskets or gift cards or whatever it is. And the idea is that when you give like that hopefully people then recognize that and then come back and shop in that business, right? But I think they do it. Small businesses, they have a sense of community by the fact that they established there and that they're invested heavily in the community. I mean, in most cases, for a small business person, that's everything to them. That every aspect of their life is wrapped up in that business. And, so they're here. And, there's nothing worse than when someone goes out and buys something somewhere else when, again, it's right across the street, And so it's critically important. And so that's the sort of the feel-good reason, like why you should, because these are invested people. These are your neighbors. These are people that you go to when you do need help. But there's also reasons that they pay the most in taxes. Local businesses do, and really they don't use as many resources. And when you're buying things at these local businesses and you're shopping locally, you're keeping tax dollars in our community. And when you do that, you're helping lower and keep taxes flat, if possible, for the entire community.
So it's the sales tax, you mean?
Sales tax is critical.
Yes.
It's so critical that, when we do, one of the reasons we do the Shop Wyoming and Win promotion, we can talk about in a minute, but we do that to focus on shopping locally because it generates sales tax revenue for the county. It helps the business because you have now generated a sale, and that keeps jobs and that keeps the business viable on Main Street. But at the same token, you're also keeping sales tax dollars here in the county, and you're not spending those dollars, at Amazon or some other place where, that might not make it back here.
Mm-hmm.
So shopping local is critical for a number of reasons.
Now you mentioned the Shop Wyoming and Win promotion.
Yes.
Is that going to take place this year?
That will happen again this year. It happens. It's a period of time that goes from Black Friday to Christmas Eve, and that's where we encourage everybody to shop local, because any purchases that you make inside the borders of Wyoming County during the period, for every $50 in receipts that you turn in, you get a ticket, and then you're entered into the drawing at the end, and it's the first prize is a conditional prize based on the NFL big game. I can't say the S word, but the championship game that's played in February, whoever wins it, if the opening kickoff is returned for a touchdown, we buy a prize that's a $25,000 cash prize. And then we have some other guaranteed prizes, so if that one doesn't happen, there's still some guaranteed prizes. Mm-hmm. But for every $50 in receipts that you send in, you get one chance. So we have people that send in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of receipts in their envelope, or drop it at a drop box in one of the businesses in the county, and they get a whole bunch of chances to win. And I've had people from all over the county win. It's a lot of fun, and it helps during the Christmas season. So we get it Black Friday when everybody's thinking about their Christmas shopping, right to Christmas Eve. So that's the shopping period that we capture.
So you save your receipts and you get $50 worth of them to get a ticket. Where do you turn it in to get a ticket?
There are rules on the chamber website, so it's wicochamber.org where the rules are, but it's aggregated. So you could go to the gas station, you could go to grocery store, you could go to the pharmacy, you could go to a gift shop, you could go to a lumber yard, whatever it is. Save all those receipts and put them in an envelope and say it's, 250, 300, 400, whatever the amount is. We'll calculate the amount of tickets and then we'll assign that to the person. And then they actually get it. We make tickets and put them in a barrel and spin them. And we draw that in February. So you can turn in the tickets, though. You can mail them directly to the chamber or drop them off. Or we have drop boxes throughout the county. We usually have about 40 in small businesses throughout the county that people can just put all they have to do is put their name, address on the receipt and drop it in the box. And at the end, we sit and sort them all out and put everybody's receipts all together. Mm. Yeah, so we had about 600 people last year participate, and it generated almost $500,000 in total sales that were part of the contest, as we'll say.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about out of time. Our guest tonight is Scott Gardner, who's the president and CEO of the Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce and Tourist Promotion Agency. What is your vision for Wyoming County? Where would you like to see it 10 years from now, or what do you see in the county's future? The way things are going.
I mean, there's a lot of people working in a lot of different directions. I mean, I think we're all pulling the same direction, but we're all working on a lot of different aspects. We're working on everything from the Rural Arts Initiative to the Workforce Development Roundtable that we're doing to try and strengthen our business sector and our workforce sector for our employers. My ideal is a prosperous county, a healthy, safe, happy county where incomes have risen and population has increased. That's home values that are up, that's lower taxes. That's the ideal. That's what I would like to see. My county, where I've lived the majority of my life, I would like to see it as prosperous as possible. There's a lot of outside, again, it's the outside factors that we can't control.
Yes.
But we still represent, I still think, solid people, Americana, a safe place to grow up, raise a family, go to school, open a small business, have a life. We're well situated to live here. You can potentially live, you can work other places, but I still think this is a great place to be from. And it's interesting now that even we get calls, people that want to come back, that left, they went out into the world and they want to come back. So they're looking for places to live. They may not necessarily work in Wyoming County, but they still want to live here because their family's here, they're connected here. So, I want to see, we all want to see things grow and change. I want to see prosperous downtowns, like they were when I was a kid. I'd love to see that. And maybe as the internet world continues to change, we'll continue to see that, as we try to grow things differently, because we have to adapt. But I would like to see, I'd like to see it change. I'd like to see it prosperous, but I want to see it change too much. And I think the people here don't want to see it change too much because there's something unique about it. There's something good about it. There's something great about the people, and you just find that right balance. So you don't want to change too much too fast. But I think it really is a great place to be from, and a great place. I'm blessed to be able to work here and do what I do here for the people, the community, the county, and the businesses that we represent.
Well, on that note, we have to bring our program to an end. We're out of time. Our guest tonight was Scott Gardner, President and Corporate Executive Officer of the Wyoming County Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Promotion Agency. We want to thank you for taking time from your schedule to come in to talk to us.
Absolutely.
I'm Kyle Adams, Zach, and as always, we here at Letchworth Cable Access thank you for watching. Good night.